solar system series known as options, where we're talking about the sign that can come up with an outlook for damn near anything. You know what I'm saying? But since we're talking about the planet's Earth and its natural oppositions, let's do our complete 180 on the sun and talk about your Earth sign. Now, why I mentioned this is because it's not something that's very popular in typical astrology. It's not that people don't like it or disagree with it. It's that it's just not used for some odd reason. But since it's the planet we live on, I find it very important that we actually talk about this placement, because it is, in fact, the bus stop to all of your manifestations in this realm. Now, before we actually talk about your Earth sign, I want you all to get grounded. And now, this doesn't necessarily mean that you have to sit on the ground like me, but it's an easy stepping stone to get to that point. Now, what I mean by grounded is you can be grounded in a thought, you could be grounded in an idea, you could be grounded in your own ability to do something, you could be grounded in a habit, you could be grounded in an experience, right? Ground is nothing more, nothing less than the actual feeling of you being grounded. Don't get lost into the physical example of an actual, like, actual ground, actual dirt, actual experience. Be grounded in yourself. Be grounded in your own ability to make yourself satisfied. Be grounded in your own ability to actually find satisfaction and contentment in something that you can do, that's something you can always bring. Because this body goes, this body will leave you, this vessel will eventually sail its way back to where it came, if you know what I mean. A little 6 feet down, a little 6 feet above. Hopefully it's not shallow, you know what I'm saying? But let's talk about Earth as a vibration for a little bit. Earth is the planet of nurturing, stability, growth, and what I usually like to do when I explain it is this is the vibration of you actually throwing a seed on the ground and taking all the time necessarily, like steps and precautions to actually grow that seed so it can bear fruits for you. It takes some time, you need to schedule it, you have to water your seed every day, and you have to do a lot of things to actually make it feel nurtured so that it can grow and healthy and become stable and a source so that you can utilize it for something, right? This is how manifestations work in this world, and actually gardening and throwing a seed is a great meditative experience to give you a reference to the actual vibration of Earth and how you can utilize it. You know what I'm saying? Because what's the point of spirituality and astrology and knowing all this stuff if you can't utilize it? You get what I'm saying here? Now, being that this installment is for Sun sign Sagittarius people, your Earth sign is naturally placed in Gemini. This is the sign that oppose you. And to bring a little bit of my vibration, since we're talking about me here, I got my warlike twins behind me because I'm a Gemini sun and I'm an Aries moon. So I can talk about freaking most planets in Gemini, right? Now, aside from that, let's talk about what Gemini actually is, right? Gemini is the twins. Gemini is mutable air, being adaptable and changeable to different ways of thinking and communicating. And it is ruled by Mercury, and it falls in Jupiter, Now, don't get it twisted and being like, oh, damn, my sun sign's ruled in Jupiter. Everybody with a sun sign placement in this realm has a naturally opposing Earth sign, right? So Gemini is born out of the third house. The third house is the house of basic details. Once you have your direction, once you have, what you have to actually start going to that direction, you got to start breaking down the steps, breaking down the details, so that you can think about it for yourself and repackage that so that you can move down the whole list of houses in the ecliptic so that you can actually bring this experience into your life, right? This is what this sign's all about. So Earth and Gemini people may bounce around through a lot of different, ideas. They may manifest a lot of ideas for themselves. They may manifest a lot of seeds for themselves. You know what I'm saying here? And with them bouncing around and just kind of creating and manifesting and just being like, oh, okay, I was looking at it this way, now these opportunities are popping up in front of me. You kind of just sort of start taking things for granted when opportunities come your way, Like, I know I keep talking about, in the Sagittarius series especially, that, history repeats itself, but opportunities don't. You know what I'm saying? This is a perfect example of that, because you're just rolling around feeling like all these things just happen. Like, they just happen, Yes, optimism may bring that to you. Yes, looking at things in many different ways may shed a lot of light on how you can actually do things. But you can become very dried out and saturated with feeling like that, not saturated, but very just dried out and maybe even burnt out to the point that when you actually need an opportunity to come to you for Earth sign Gemini people, that it doesn't even show up. because you're so used to them just showing up that you don't actually take the initiative to go out and create it for yourself. You know, you're too busy like just rolling around thinking like, oh, well, they always just come to me, and you know, so I'll just use them, right? But you neglect to realize that that you of all people should know that when you're looking for something, that's when it does not show up. You may put out the intention and the experience and the vibration and the thought feeling based off of how this may show up. But if you're actually seeking it out and looking for it, you're not doing what you normally do to come up with ways for this to like appear for you. You get what I'm saying here? Like freaking Geminis can be the adaptable, the most like conversational people in the world. But when you're focusing on the actual thing you want to manifest for yourself to come to you, and you're focusing on that the whole time, you completely neglect the fact of what you were doing the whole time when all of these opportunities and happenstances and just just lucky circumstances popping up for you appeared in the first place. Do you get what I'm saying here? Like, you can't just be like, oh, when I need it, I'm looking for it. Because not only does the things not pop up when you're looking for it, but when you're coming up with millions of ideas of like how it could show up and you're not thinking about how you could actually go out and get it, you're going to just kind of be blocking yourself in a way, naturally. And since, your sun sign naturally expands things and expands what you're looking for, you're going to be coming up with more circumstances of, I don't know, where's it at? And then you're just going to be stuck in the mud feeling like you trapped yourself in, which you did, but you also naturally know how to do it. So when you stop looking at it and you start thinking about, oh, okay, like maybe I could do this, maybe I could do that, maybe I could do this, watch how those regular, assembly line opportunities start popping up in front of you. You know what I'm saying? And it's not about the actual opportunity as much as it is about how you go about doing this and how you look at this opportunity. You know what I'm saying? How you look at things. Because once you realize that you can just ride this vibrational frequency and know how to just sort of sit in an opportunistic stance aligned with what you're actually looking for, then you can just start naturally making this opportunistic stance happen for yourself when you're looking for it, instead of when you're not looking for it and you're just floating around in the astral realm just looking at things from many different outlooks, kind of tricking people. It's like a freaking sun sign Sagittarius people and earth sign Gemini people are kind of like window shoppers in a sense, astrologically speaking. Because if we think about paying attention being the highest form of currency, and this is what actually paying your attention is actually what brings experience into your life, then these people look at many different experiences, many different outlooks. So naturally, when it shows up in Gemini, it'll just be appearing. And you'll just be like, oh, damn, maybe so, huh? Maybe I should do this. But you're too busy looking at everything else to actually go into this situation. Do you get what I'm saying here? Like, it's just, y'all, sun sign Sagittarius people are motherfucking window shoppers. They just look, and they don't actually ever buy into an experience, which is why I just went on a whole tirade about when you actually want something to pop up for you, it doesn't show up because you're not doing it right, and you're wasting your ability to actually be like, if I look at this in many different perspectives of how I can bring it into my life, instead of what you normally do, which is like, you could do this way, you could do this way, but when you're talking about you, you're never talking about yourself. So I know window shopping may kind of be a harsh way to put it, but at the end of the day, it's sort of boxing yourself into the thing you kind of hate in the first place, you know what I'm saying? Which is being boxed in and not able to be free mentally. You never want to be in a mental cage. Like, this is what most Sagittarius sun people probably hate. They don't want to ever feel like they're in a rut. They don't want to ever feel like they're stuck mentally. They don't want their perspective to be in one specific place. But by you not actually getting down and putting the work into something that you actually desire, you sort of are boxing yourself in to that mental place. Exactly, And you live in a physical world too. You don't want to box yourself out to physical experiences as well. I know you can come up with a bunch of ways out of that and sort of just work on yourself and trick your spirit into thinking that you're in a good space. But the matter of the fact is, sometimes you're not. You know what I'm saying? And eventually you do have to buckle down and put work in. You know what I'm saying? So to sort of tie it all together, how these Earth sign Gemini people can just really put in the work and actually get to somewhere they may actually desire is you just have to change your frame and just tweak it a little bit. All you have to do is just say how, like, just start imagining and thinking how you can implement yourself and put yourself into different positions of how you may attack a problem, right? Of how you may want to actually work towards something you desire. Because it can be done. It can be attained. This is what Sun sign Sagittarius people are actually really good at. They are very adaptable when it comes to implementing themselves into something that they want to do. They are very adaptable with coming up with ideas and like solutions to actually handle something. They are very adaptable when it comes to just attacking any problem that they may face. They just need to actually sit themselves and position themselves into a space that they can actually work on something. You feel what I'm saying here? Now, to, sort of close it off and stuff, Earth sign Gemini people are very capable of manifesting many different aspects into this world. They just need to find one direction. And the natural opposition to that is Sun sign Sagittarius people, they don't want to find a singular position. They don't want to stay in one place. That sort of blocks them from everything that they feel free in what they can do in terms of expansion. But to bring it back to where it all began, Earth sign Gemini, let's talk about Earth a little bit, and let's bring it back to how it's lens in Gemini. So, Earth is the planet of nurturing, growth, stability. You throw a seed on the ground, you watch it grow, you learn all the natures and the in-betweens of how that actually happened, and you got the vibration of Earth in a nutshell. Now, when it's layered through Gemini, it's layered through the lens of mutable air, which is being adaptable and changeable to different ways of thinking as well as communication. So, you may get lost along the way, you may be able to attack an individual problem through many different directions, but all you need to do is ask why and know how you're going about doing something and why you're there in the first place and how you got to that intention to begin with. Anyways, thanks for following the solar system series known as Options. Peace.